Hey everybody, welcome back to Fresh Set. I'm Sabrina,
And I'm Kevin.
and we are back with another episode. I'm in Canada.
You're in
Kevin
Canada.
is,
Yeah. I am
yes,
I am elsewhere. I am in sunny Mexico at the moment. Just
I'm on a boat.
letting Mickey Mouse basically just steal from me. Take every little ounce of dignity and money I have left. Um
Have kids, they said.
yeah. Who said? Not me. Um Yeah, no, I'm out here.
uh,
I'm trying to
yeah,
get this sorted, and next week I will also still be away, but no, just in Florida. But we will still get these podcasts out to you, in a timely fashion, semi timely.
hopefully, hopefully timely. Um, well, this week we are kind of getting into the swing of the season. 2024
We're
F1
yeah,
season.
we're back.
We're
We're
back.
back.
It's about time.
I mean, we're here for the first
Um,
time, but we're back. The season's back.
yeah, true. So we this past weekend, or it wasn't the weekend, it was
Yeah,
Wednesday,
yeah.
Thursday, Friday, was preseason testing of all the cars. Um, nice to see everybody on track. And we kind of just want to talk about what we saw and what was noteworthy, worrisome, exciting.
And it was strange too because I don't think there were no laps done by any of the reserve drivers, were there? It was
No,
all
no,
20 drivers, I believe.
it was all 20 drivers.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. No, I don't think so. Well, hopping right into it, I want to say day one, I think it was your second favorite car or the livery steak.
Mistake, yeah.
Kick.
The
It
steak.
looks really
It
good
does.
on
It
track.
does. I
Like,
liked it. Like it was noticeable.
yeah, yeah,
You see it coming around the corners or whatever, and it's great. Like I love the green. It really works
yeah,
on track.
yeah.
I know some people aren't gonna like it, but yeah,
No, I thought it looked cool. I think it's different.
yeah,
We're used to like the blue, the black, the red.
yeah.
And
Everybody kind of
so
follows those same kind of main colors, and this was just completely
yeah,
out there. Right?
yeah. I mean, whether it's gonna be good in a race is different, but I thought it looked good at least.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean
Look good, feel
points for
good.
style. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I wrote out the list of laps completed
Mhm.
by each team, and I'm just gonna rank them from most to least. Or I'm gonna tell you from most to least what they are. So Haas, 441 laps completed
Yeah.
between all 3 days of testing.
Mhm.
Ferrari, 416. Red Bull, 391. Stake, 379. Aston Martin, 379. Visa, Cash App, Racing Bulls, 367. Mercedes, 361. Alpine, 334. McLaren, 328. And Williams,
Yeah, and I've got a comment about that. I mean,
yes.
I was it day one. Logan spins out. He had a spin out there. He
Yeah.
didn't look super comfortable in the car. I think he do
No.
one day. I think he did 80 laps. I believe it was
Yeah.
85, something like that. I think he was
Yeah.
under the 100. I mean, it looked like okay, we're just gonna let Albon take it, and you're not getting back in this car because we don't want to destroy it. Which was
Yeah.
really weird because then he had his interview after it. All he kept saying was, we had a positive day. We had I think
Yeah.
we learned things. We had a positive, and he said it several times. I mean, you're not telling us anything about
No.
anything.
And like, I think it was like, well, Albon had a positive day.
Yeah.
Not sure you did. I mean, he spun, he saved it, didn't hit a wall. He was able to get out of it. It didn't require a safety or red flag or anything, but it was still like, you would be the one to spin. And
he was nowhere near a top time. And I don't know if that's what they were going for. They were just testing tires or anything, but he wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Just at like a +3 or 5 seconds or something like that off the lead.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that they they took so few laps with him in a car. I mean, Albon did just as many as any other driver would have done, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm a little shocked, and maybe it's again pulling Logan back from doing laps. I'm a little shocked with how little laps they actually did complete. Um, I was thinking for a team that's a little bit further on the back of the grid, they'd be wanting to press, just considering we have Haas on the other end,
But
right? And I know they've got a lot to prove, but
but Haas did say that from the beginning. They were trying to get as much data from tire degradation. They weren't even pushing for time,
yeah,
apparently. Maybe that was just a cover up
yeah,
for that. We don't have a fast car, so we don't.
yeah,
But I mean,
yeah,
they said that from the outset that was their goal. For me, like I said, that Albon did laps as much as anybody else would, and I just don't think they have the confidence to put Logan back in the car there.
right,
And start his damage cost for the season, which is thankful for me because you had him at the top of our predictions, and
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, McLaren being 328 right above them in ninth. A little shocked with that, but I guess, Lando did have issues day one. So that obviously cut into his time at least. But I mean, overall, I think everybody else relatively in the same range.
Yeah, they were all in
Other
that
than Haas.
100 per driver, 150 to 200 laps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was like, again, it was nice to see the cars back on track. The V-carb car, it's very bright. I mean, I know that's weird saying considering steak is lime green, but there's something
but there's enough of a contrast there in the
about
black. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's very reminiscent of
Yeah,
like
I mean,
older F1 cars, older F1 liveries, where it was a very shiny metallic paint,
yeah.
noticeable out on track. As much as I don't like the livery, I'm glad to see that they were. Yes, I'm glad to see that they were pushing times. You can see their improvement, and I think that's going to help
Yeah.
you on your predictions as well, where they're going to be, where they're going to end up.
Yeah.
But again, it's that's their stealing from Red Bull, the parent company, um, which I'm sure we're going to hear a lot from Zach Brown about that the next coming weeks or months, or especially if they outperform a McLaren in a qualifying. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been on track or in a paddock for 3 days, 4 days, and Zach's already made the comment
Yeah.
that it's not fair. It'll be interesting to see how they develop, meaning V-carb, sorry.
V-carb, yeah.
And then what Zach's comments end up being. Because if they're, like you said, if they're performing really well, I can see him going to the FIA every week about it. So, okay, cars, or actually no, Aston Martin. Day one, they were topping laps run again, which they were the top team last year, and then they kind of fell off. They were in the middle, literally. 1, 2, 3. They were the 6, so they were right there. But day one, they were pushing. Car looks good. They both look comfortable again.
But I don't feel like all the teams are really pushing. I feel like there's a lot of sandbagging this year. So where we see, and it could be Aston Martin sandbagging, but I feel like Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari aren't showing their true potentials. I don't know if these lap times or what Aston Martin's putting out is going to be really reflective of what we're going to see on track.
No. They're holding. I think everybody's holding back.
Yeah.
Maybe not Haas.
Well, no. I think the ones at the bottom are just they're pushing. They're trying.
They're like, this is the fastest we can.
Well, because you saw last year. Last year, I think Max's qualifying time was around Carlos's fastest time this year, which was a 1:29, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Alonso wasn't far behind it. He was in the 130s, the high one or the low 130s. So I think they still have a little more to go in this car. You would hope so.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Hopefully. But yeah, no, I think they're They look good. They look the same as last year, basically. You're right.
Yeah. A lot of the comments that have been made by the drivers so far have been like Lando kind of said, "Oh, this isn't everything." Uh, Max is a little more hush hush, but he's kind of saying it's doing exactly what I want.
Which is scary.
There's more to come.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
yeah. Like they're all in their villain era. I mean, I feel like Max never really came out of his villain era, but
no.
now he's just more secretive with how he does
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be a really interesting what happens the next little bit. Actually, even just like the first two races, I think we're gonna see
Oh yeah.
where people are gonna
Yeah.
start to fall. But yeah, so in terms of cars and some of the changes, we've got Mercedes with the front wing change. Their seat is a little further back.
Yeah.
I understand.
Which
Which
where
is something
Lewis
that
wants. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which they're probably
Lewis really wanted.
yeah, which they're probably kicking themselves now for. Like, we changed this
Yeah,
car for you.
exactly.
Yeah, I believe the
Yeah,
FAA deemed that wing legal. So there wasn't. There were some people that were
yeah,
protesting or asking for an inquiry on it, whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen, they take that out of the four elements of their front wing design, those little flaps. They've basically taken half of the top front wing out, which I've heard different things. I've heard one, it allows more clean airflow into the cooling ducts, but it also creates more dirty air behind. I don't know how that works. I'm not an aerodynamic physicist or whatever they are.
No,
No, I'm not an engineer. But there's some reports that it promotes more things, more cool air or dirty air. But apparently it's legal because all you have to do is just connect it to the body or the nose. It just has to touch. So they're getting away with that thin little rod there.
By whatever means necessary,
yeah.
they're doing it.
Yeah.
Red Bull has the hidden side pod for air intake to cool the car.
Well, they've got 3 intakes now.
Yeah, and it seems to be working.
Yeah. They've basically told. So they haven't taken away. The rumor is they're going to a 0 side pod, but they haven't taken away the side pod. It's a thinner car. Yeah. I noticed that right away as soon as they show that picture, that the side pods are a little bit thinner. And I guess that's what that vertical inlet helps. But then they have those two inlets above the head going into the cannon section there, into the engine covers. So I guess that's how they kind of get away with it, having the thinner inlet.
RB20 on Ozempic, following all the celebrities.
Basically, yeah.
The one thing that I know all the technical directors and engineers are all there. Adrian Newey was like right up in there with that car. Like anytime it came into the pit, he was just like, he was calm, he was cool, like very collected, but he was just watching
very
his car.
involved. Yeah. I'm sure he's taking measurements of how everything, like, engine temperatures and everything, making sure that everything's working as it should, so we don't have a complete, just engine explosion in race 2 or something.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Day 1 maxed at 142 laps in that Red Bull. I mean, you see the porpoising on other cars. The Red Bull looks smooth.
It does.
Stable.
It does.
There's no porpoising. Like, he's just flying and
perfectly handled. And like compare it to, like, you saw Max go around. It looked beautiful, no problem. You watch his camera angles from the driver's seat. It looked great. He's taking those corners, no problem. You watch the Mercedes ones, and that thing's bouncing like crazy. I'm like, they brought it back. How did they bring it back? I know it's an old track. It's something like 8 years old or more than that.
Yeah.
So it needs some work, but they were bouncing, and Red Bull was just cruising. Flat. Yeah, it was
just going around the car. And it's funny when he says, it's doing what I want. So,
well, he's their $50 million man. They're gonna make it for him. Exactly the same way why Mercedes wanted to bring it to Lewis. That's the way they're gonna be. It'll be interesting to see how car direction changes when Lewis goes to Ferrari, and if they're not compatible on how they like their car set up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I mean, Checo on day 2. I think Max was all day. He was all day 1. Checo was
All
all
day,
day
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 two.
2.
Yes.
So Max finished first on timing wise on day 1, I think.
He was in the 130, low 130.
Yeah. And then Checo finished 3rd for that day. So
which I mean, it was
is
promising. I mean,
it's not bad.
no, it was promising. I mean, to get there when he could hardly come out of qualifying, or to get into a Q3 I mean, he did well in Bahrain last year, but well, he won actually first race, so yeah, he did pretty well. But his qualifying times were better last year as well. So I mean, he looks better in the car as well. Let's give credit where credit's due. I mean, he does look good.
And I mean, in the pit as well, and like walking around the paddock and seeing him, he does seem calmer.
Yeah.
Especially the second half of the season, you could see he was very tense in the garage. There didn't seem like that much interaction with him and Max again towards the end of the season, but they were chatting it up in the garage.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's the beginning, everybody's relaxed. Season hasn't started yet, but he seems chill. And I mean, I would be happy with 3rd as well. I mean, again, this is just getting used to the car, getting your numbers right, getting all the data that you need to. So I think I'm not worried about Red Bull.
Of how it reacts to you and how it reacts on track and with the tires. I mean, I don't think the goal here is just to and you're looking at I mean, they're all day testing, but you're looking at 1 lap versus race pace. I think they're going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the rumor on day 2 as well is that Red Bull will have major changes to their car by the 4th race. So is that the 0
race?
By the 4th race. So that's
the 0 side pods were supposed to have been Japan, which is near the break or just after the break. I can't remember what it is this year because now they've changed everything. Actually, it might be
changed everything.
It might be like May, June.
Japan is the 4th race.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
It is.
Mystery solved. Yes.
Yes, just pulled it up.
They do Saudi Arabia. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. They go to Australia. Then they go Japan, and then do China. I think Japan, China, something like that. Anyway, So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they already changed the car a lot.
But
they're already saying major by race 4.
But do you want to make major changes? Like, so if they're in, they start the season like they did last year, right? Which I don't think they will, but if they're winning a race by 12, 15 seconds, do you want to make a major change? Do you really honestly believe that, like, it's going to, I mean, you have to be very positive that it is going to be a huge improvement.
Maybe it'll put them back up to those 30-second wins, 27-second wins. I mean, it's weird that that's a rumor. And again, it is just a rumor. But I mean, it's been stuff that's kind of been said. I mean, you said you heard Japan, and Japan is the 4th race. Yeah. So,
well, it seems to be in F1 that rumors somehow end up becoming reality. So,
all the rumors,
a lot of shit gets out a little too easily.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's very high schoolish.
I was just going to say it's a bunch of 15-year-old girls like running this paddock. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's a little daunting, I think. I think I saw Lando make a comment. Someone asked him about the Red Bulls. He said, "Oh no, like we're not catching them." And it was like, "Oh, okay, so they already know what's coming." But
and I think I saw that the reports around the paddock that everybody feels like Red Bull's already a second ahead, even though they didn't top the times in the last 2 days. They feel some Ferrari's second. And for some reason, Mercedes playing mind games again says that, Mercedes is only, or Ferrari's, or Red Bull is only half a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
You got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah, clearly. I didn't want to get off to the topic of Lando though. I will give you a preemptive win, not a full win. I'll give you half a point. Okay, for Lando entering his villain era, because he does look like a villain now. He's very stoic.
Absolutely.
Very like he looks like
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm here. I might see him. I'm a drug dealer. That's just that's ready, or a Sicario or something that's gonna come and just take you out. I mean, he's really pushing that.
Yeah, and I really think he's just like, beard's growing in. He's gotten a little thicker.
Let's not say it's growing in. It's present. It's present. He's trying.
You're like, I grew this. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think he really is in his villain era. He wants that win, and I think he can do it. As long as McLaren continue to grow on what they did the second half of the season, 2023, I think he is on track, no pun intended, to win. He's got to get one this year. Yeah, so I mean, his session was cut short. He had issues with his floor, which he seemed very concerned about. I think he just wanted to be on the track.
Yeah.
But once they were able to turn around, I think he was doing some pretty good times at some point.
Yeah, and I think
he should be one to watch.
I think he will. I mean, I think their strategy is going to be there. His talent's obviously there. He's going to be in the mix. I think it's going to have to be a little bit of luck with some, again, if it's going to be in a wet weather situation or something, or Max blows up, or breaks his leg or something. I think the car, not with him in it. I still need Red Bull to win the championship. I think he'll get it this year if the stars align. If something doesn't happen, I don't think they're there. I don't think.
Hopefully, it's not one more season for him. But I mean, it would be nice to see him get one, just one.
I hope so.
Just one. Other noticeable changes: Alpine, their nose is very wide. On their front wing. Not sure why. I didn't hear much on it. I just, it was very noticeable. That it was pretty wide. So we'll see if that helps or hinders them.
Well, I don't know if it's the nose or the engine, but they didn't look good at all in these 3 days. They look very bad. They look like they've taken a step back. They've gone from, where did they finish? 5th last year. I believe it was 5th. I think they'll take that step back. At least in the beginning of the year, they don't look good.
No, there was nothing memorable about them on track. But we'll see what happens there. Day 2, Sainz hitting the fastest of the 3 days, 129. Again, does that mean anything? Yes,
it means something for his contract next year. Yeah, 90%. It does. Yes. He's driving for a contract.
Does it mean anything? Right. He's got to show everything that he has, and he was able to do it in a Ferrari, and he beat times of everybody of the week, or the 3 days. Yeah. So we'll see there.
Which is a good showing from Ferrari, because I don't think they actually hit a 129.
Charles finished on top
last year,
but he still was in the 130s.
Yeah.
So he didn't break, but Ferrari's looking good. Maybe
they do. Yeah, they do.
Maybe
it looked like they were going to continue to get better. All signs pointed to it, especially in their off-season testing. So they should be better. They should bring that fight to Red Bull. One of the Red Bulls, maybe.
a Red Bull. in
But they should.
specific.
Yeah, they do look good
Yeah, I thought so too. And then I mean, we've got to talk about it. Day 2, there was a drain cover.
again.
Drain
Yep.
cover that hit a Ferrari again.
Yeah. So I believe
um,
it was somebody else that kicked it up first, wasn't it, or loosened it?
I don't know who loosened it, but someone else hit it as
No,
well,
I
or
think
like
I'm sorry.
went over.
It was Leclerc that had loosened it, and
Yeah,
then
and then
Hamilton went over it, I believe it was. Yeah.
yeah, there was damage to Charles' car, so they had to have their
Yeah.
floor replaced again. Um, it's kind of interesting that like we know it happens,
Yeah.
but it's interesting that it happened, towards the end of last season, second last race, and then preseason it's happening again. And
Yeah, we're 4 months,
Carlos had that.
4 months out.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, and Carlos had that penalty, which was unfair in Vegas, which everybody seems to agree was unfair. But do we have a problem with drain covers? And should all tracks be looking at those drain covers right now?
Shouldn't we not have a problem on an actual racetrack with drain covers? I mean, Vegas is one thing. Vegas is a street track. They have to cover those drains. It's fine. That's going to happen. Bahrain is a designated track. Why is the drain cover in the running line of a vehicle? Why?
And yeah, and I mean
couldn't it be
so
a meter further, and it'd have been fine?
Yeah, and it's so close to the apex. Like I don't know why they had to again.
Well, that's coming.
Move it over a little
that
bit.
was coming out of the apex. I think that one, right? So that's where they come out, and they're over the red and white stripe. But just move it a little bit more. Change the grade of the track a little bit.
Right.
It's very simple to solve. There should be no reason why on an actual dedicated track somebody has to go over a drain cover.
I mean, it'll be interesting to do track limits that way. You're tracking the track limits. You're like, you shouldn't be driving over the drain cover.
Well, yeah. I guess you went too far. Your fault.
Yeah. Penalty, Ocon.
Ocon, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it really our predictions with preseason testing has anything changed for you with your predictions for this season?
I mean, if anybody has actually watched our YouTube version of our predictions show, I did outline, which was terrible. It's good for a laugh.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were wrong on so many things. I mean, Carlos isn't re-signing for one more year. Obviously, Lewis to Ferrari, which I was actually pretty proud of that edit when I did that. But I just faded in Lewis's face over Carlos. So it was fun. Lando's obviously staying where he is. What else were we wrong about?
Everything.
So anything. Actually, you would
everything.
Yeah, you were probably pretty close. I mean, Alpine looks like they're taking a step back, so you were good on that one when you with the construction sticks, and I had them not as far. The RBs probably that changes a few things. They look like they're going to be higher. Sonoda looked good. Through testing, consistent. I mean, he was consistent last year, but consistently and faster this year. So.
And Daniel, I saw a video of Daniel this morning or yesterday driving. It was just like an angle of watching his hands on the wheel, and he is barely touching that wheel, and it's just like the car is gliding with him. So he's got a handle on it, it seems, again. So we'll see. I mean, let's just look at my predictions again. It was Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Aston Martin, Alpine, Racing Bulls, Haas, Stake, and Williams.
Oh, you had the Alpine above the Racing Bulls. I thought it was the other way around.
It did. I thought I had it the other way around too.
I think you're looking at mine, aren't you?
I don't know. Maybe it's yours. But I mean, even that, I would probably switch them. I would drop Alpine. I would drop Alpine even further. Maybe they're not doing so well.
I think they stick around the 7th. I mean, it's going to be hard to lose to a Haas or Williams or the Stake. That Stake's going to have to take leaps and bounds to get past the Alpine. now that I think about it, I mean, I know I had Charles winning the championship, which could still happen. I'm still betting on it, and Red Bull taking the constructors, but I could see it going the other way. I could see Max winning again, but Ferrari with their duo winning the constructors. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
The other thing for this last week, February 23rd, so on Friday, Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Drive to Survive came
Which you
back.
have blown right through.
Yes, I am done. All 10 episodes started on Friday, and I finished yesterday. So,
I
I
have
mean, it's,
seen all of 5 minutes, I believe, because
yeah.
my youngest son likes to repeat after Gunther Steiner, and as soon as he heard Gunther say "this is fucking boring," he turned around and said, "This is fucking boring." So that was it for
So,
me on my vacation. I have to
yeah,
watch,
you'll
yeah, later on.
you'll have to catch up. Yeah. It's gone a little bit the feel of it I think is a little bit back to like the first few seasons. Focusing on the drivers and focusing on the business side of it. A little bit away from the drama. There is still drama, obviously.
But
The
did
Formula
you?
1 is just drama.
I mean,
But
yeah, it is.
um
Well, we said it's 15-year-old schoolgirls. So,
yeah. Yeah.
did we have a lot of drama other than Otmar and Gunther leaving? Was there a ton of drama this year? Was there?
It was the first year of Gasly and Ocon together.
Yes.
There's the drama of Lance not starting or potentially not starting and getting
Yes.
into breaking his arm in just before preseason. So there's that kind of stuff that's touched on, but there's a lot of the business side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 2 episodes about Alpine and their drama. Not sure we needed to.
No,
and these
not
are just my
for a team that nobody really cared about
thoughts.
listening to.
Right,
Right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, not that they didn't care, but not that much.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. We have Max is very limited in this one again. So he's taken the step back. We know he took the step back, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because he didn't like the drama. He didn't like that, the
The
show was pitting drivers.
Yeah. The overture
Yeah.
dramatization.
Yeah. So he's in it. He's in the background.
See, I was wondering because he didn't show he didn't show up in a trailer. He wasn't in any of the posters. I'm like, oh my god, did he leave again?
Yeah. So I think there's one interview with him. And it's the last episode, I think.
Which is
very little about him. Yeah, and like very little about him in general. Which really sucks because he did a lot this season. He broke a lot of records. So I'm surprised there was not much about him, but I did read that he did say it kind of again, like he's just become even more private. And that one of his comments was that he'd rather it just play out and you see it as it is opposed to it being spiced up by TV. So I can respect it. It just sucks because it would be a really good episode just to like go through every single thing he did.
Yeah. And they should have dedicated a little bit of that to it. I mean, they had enough material with, the commentators. I mean, their view of it.
Yeah.
And then they could have. They didn't have to have him in there, but they could have had half an episode on what he's achieved this year. I know it's not it's not the glamorous part of it because he was so far ahead that there was nothing in question. But I mean to almost ignore, and I don't know if they've almost ignored. I'm just getting for what you're saying, but to almost ignore one of the greatest seasons in F1 is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it was. I was shocked that he wasn't in it again, but I mean that's very much Max, and he did say he's become more private. So
Yeah, but
All the power to him.
they could acknowledge it without him there. That's
Yeah.
I mean
Christian's in it a lot, and he talks about Daniel all day long.
Oh, really? Okay.
All day long. Which probably doesn't make your actual driver feel good that
Yeah,
10 episodes and you spoke about Daniel.
But I'm sure you spoke about Checo. That's just a Netflix thing. That's just Netflix saying, and then Netflix taking, Daniel's probably our most marketable driver. So we're going to use that and just, plaster his face everywhere. So
yeah, for sure. And then the other, I don't know if you even got this far, but
I can guarantee you I did not.
One of the I don't know, experts you want to call it, is Danica Patrick.
Yeah. I mean, I know she works for F1 TV or she does the Sky Sports, which one of the two.
Yeah.
She brings nothing to the broadcasts for me. I know they have her there because we have 3 races in America. She's a very marketable American driver, noticeable American driver. And it's not to say that she's not knowledgeable or anything. But what she brings to it just does nothing for me. Everybody else is great usually, but it's not much.
Feedback has not been great online about having Danica in there. One of the comments was,
she's one of the actual talking heads in the thing, like Will Buxton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
yes, that's terrible. Out of all the people you could choose.
Well, and what's funny is like what I've been reading online of why she was chosen and like articles about it, was that she brings a driving perspective to Netflix. And I was kind of like,
so do the drivers.
So do the drivers.
So does Jensen Button. So does Felipe Massa.
She's never been in an F1 car. Like, how she has driving, but like,
so does Martin Brundle. Where's Martin Brundle? He's a driver. Like, anybody else?
Right. Anybody else?
Fine.
So
and
it's interesting. Yeah.
It's you know what it is, and it's not, and it's one because she's American. It's very popular in America. She's a woman.
Yeah.
Which get another woman who is more marketable. Like everybody liked it when Susie Wolf was on there. It was great.
Right.
I liked having Susie Wolf on.
Susie Wolf is in it because there's a bit of an episode about Mercedes. So she does talk a little bit. Claire Williams is back.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good.
So, but it's like, did we need... Like, Claire is the perfect person to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like,
and not many people like Danica Patrick as the commentator on F1 or with Sky Sports, whatever it is.
Yeah, we know Jensen doesn't.
Oh no, he's not a fan of hers. No.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's some. I think it's back to being a really good season. There's stuff that was missed, and we can do a debrief episode about it.
Yeah.
As well once you catch up. Hot mic moments are hilarious.
Oh, great.
Yeah, mostly Lando. So villain arrow. Yeah. There's some good hot mic moments for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think overall this past week has been a really good reintroduction to Formula One or the season, getting ready for the season. We are technically in race week.
We are, yeah.
First race.
Race week starts tomorrow, I guess.
Well, technically it was
I guess
Saturday,
so,
but...
So let me put it to you then. After preseason testing, where do you rank our cars right now? 1 through 10, our teams or the
like
teams,
who's
whatever. Where do we feel they where they are? Whether they've taken a step back, whether they've taken a step forward, whether they're the same.
Oh, Red Bull has taken a step forward. They didn't need to, but they've taken a step forward. Ferrari, I think they've taken another step forward. They took a big step forward the second half of the season. I think they're up there. I'm not sure about Mercedes. I'm worried about Mercedes. I think they may have taken a step back. We'll see. And I think McLaren's going to take that spot.
So you would put them in like the third spot there to start.
Yeah, I'd put McLaren. Yeah. Then depending what Aston Martin held back, I think it's going to be either 4 or 5 for Mercedes. Like for Lewis to walk away already, he must be seeing something.
Yeah.
I think that's telling enough. So he's seeing that car going backwards. And then the bottom of the grid, I don't know.
Who cares? But
Yeah, I don't know where to put everybody else.
Yeah, I think you're excuse me, right on there. You're gonna obviously that's gonna be a Mercedes and or sorry, Red Bull and Ferrari 1-2. You could be right with that McLaren in 3. Depending on the sand, I feel like Mercedes is sandbagging though. I just
You think so?
Yeah, I don't trust those slimy fuckers. I feel like
Don't trust the Brits.
Yeah, I would put them pretty comfortably in that 4th because I feel like McLaren can be sandbagging a little bit too, and then Aston Martin that 5th. I think sadly, I think Williams is taking a step back too. I don't know if they're gonna have enough to stay in that 7. So they may drop down to an 8. I mean, Haas is going to be obviously that 10, and then it'll be somewhere between that Williams and Stake there in the 8th. Oof. Yeah, 100%. I have no doubt in my mind that
I still have
Haas.
a little bit of confidence that they'll
That's
maybe not be 10.
your opinion. I think you're completely wrong.
It's great to have an opinion. It's wrong.
Yeah.
But
everybody has an opinion.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't see them doing it. I don't. That's why I think they'll be back at the bottom, and we'll have 2 new drivers in Haas next year. Just my thoughts.
Interesting. Well, we shall see. And I mean, like I said, the first couple of races, we're going to get a bit of an indication. Doesn't mean it's, forever because things change in a season.
Well, apparently by race 4, yeah. So we'll see something different.
By race 4. But yeah, I think it's good that we're back. I'm excited. I'm excited for this season. One, because we're doing this. But
Yeah. Our focus is now, we're now just keenly we were anyways. I mean,
yeah.
The amount of dirty looks I got from Bianca about just the text back and forth, just rolling her eyes, just like, you guys again. Yeah. So it's all starting up again.
That broad.
And which is your name in my phone?
Sorry, Bianca.
Okay, she's fine. Don't worry about
it. All right. Well,
yeah.
I think that's our episode for this week. We will be back next Monday. Super exciting. And it will be for Bahrain race 1.
Yeah, our first official race recap and what's been going on. We may even have some news that's supposed to come down the pipe in February 28th. Maybe or maybe not. Might be a rumor, but again, like we said about rumor, we shall see.
That I did see that was somewhat recalled.
What was it? I hope so.
Maybe.
We'll see.
He was there. He was very involved.
Yeah.
If anybody is wondering, we're talking about Christian Horner.
Yeah. Which we don't have any real details on yet.
No real details. It keeps switching every day. It's a different rumor of what's going on. There's supposed to be some sort of announcement on the 28th. I'm not confident because, again, I read something this morning that it was possibly recalled.
Well,
so,
I guess we'll just have to wait for the 28th and see. And
yeah, when's that? How many days
actually,
away
I don't even
that?
know I don't even know what day today is.
Yeah,
I think that's Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we will see you guys back here next week, and in the meantime, grab a fresh set.
Fresh set. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.